ప్రేమ స్వరూపులారా, విద్యార్థులారా, who am I?
Welcome to Inside Scoop, a podcast that brings you practical servings of Swami's sweetest teachings. On this episode, we're mixing things up a little. We have two very special, loving light givers, Sister Sayusha and Brother Divinesh. Hi, guys.
Hi,
Sairam. So we're going to start with a pop quiz on Hindu mythology, okay? With 3 questions, and I'm sure as SSC gurus, you guys are gonna kill it. So let's start. Question 1: what is the name of the only female avatar?
Divinesh. For female avatar for Krishna, right? For Vishnu.
Okay.
Mohini. Yes.
Awesome. But let me give you let me finish the question.
Oh, where is
Sayusha.
the question?
Okay, next.
So the question was, who is the only female avatar of the Hindu god Vishnu? And the answer is correct, Mohini. Question 2. But let me finish the question so Sayusha gets a chance.
I get a chance, bro.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll give her some leeway.
Thanks.
Okay.
So kind.
This one is not a multiple choice question, so you guys just shoot the answer when I'm done with the question. What is the name of the character in the Mahabharata who was born a female but later transformed into a male?
Divinesh. Shikandi.
Yes! Great
Yes!
job. Okay.
Oh,
Awesome.
yeah.
Come on,
God.
man. Come on.
Come
Akka,
on,
keep
Akka.
up, Akka.
Last question. What is the
When
name?
was the last time I read the Mahabharata or studied anything about it? A long time ago.
Refresher.
What is the name of the child that was born from the union of one of Vishnu's avatar that we maybe named before and Lord Shiva?
I know this
I'll
one,
give
but
you
Akka,
3.
would you like to take it?
No, I'll give you 3. I'll give you 3 options. Option A, the child's name is Brahma. Option B, the child's name is Ayyappa. And option 3, the child's name is Chandrika.
Chandrika.
No, it's Ivan.
Yes. Akka, I think
I
it's
wouldn't
safe.
know. I was just guessing anyway.
I think it's safe
Chandrika
to
is a
say.
soap, Akka.
All right. You can get the hamper.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Divinesh wins the hamper. Okay, but guys,
Mira,
don't you
send
think
it to my address.
will do? It's amazing how gender was portrayed with so much open-mindedness and freedom in some of our scriptures. So drawing inspiration from that, we thought we should also have a chat about how things have evolved since then. But before we get there, I think we need to address why this conversation is relevant in the Sai organization, right? So maybe we'll start with Divinesh. Why is it important to talk about LGBT-related issues in the organization? Like, what's the relevance?
Well, Nira, to be honest, we've lost lives because of this. We've often avoided them in casual or social settings, but they are colliding in such forceful and confusing ways in the Sai fold. And I believe we can't afford to avoid the elephant in the room, Nira.
Yeah.
May I ask you, would you happen to know what LGBT means?
I do, but I want to hear it from you.
Well, let me explain it to you, right?
Awesome.
The first 3 letters, LGB, refer to sexual orientation. The T refers to gender identity. So what is gender identity and sexual orientation, you may ask, if you do not know about this. Gender identity is internal. It's a personal sense of being a man or a woman, whereby a sexual orientation is a physical or romantic or emotional attraction. So, these are little things that, we're living in today's society that some people may still not know. And there's so much of learning to unlearn, Nira, on ways we use to. And I'm hoping we can remind one another about acceptance and love. Swami did say, after all, no season for love, no reason for
Love.
Love.
Absolutely. Akka, what about you?
First of all, my humble pranams to the lotus feet of our beloved Bhagwan. And I pray that Swami speaks through us, listens through us, and is here throughout everything. So, back to the question. As Divinesh rightly said, we do sweep this topic under the carpet, The LGBT community has been around, like you said, long enough, eons literally, whether or not we choose to acknowledge this openly, right?
Yeah.
And it's more prevalent to us all today, more than ever before, because people voice out more today. And my personal opinion is that it's good because everybody should feel comfortable with themselves at all times. With resistance over the years, taboos and prejudices, it's been harder to deal with this issue in the past. But our world being a global community, I think it's time we accept everyone for who they are. Moreover, Swami's umbrella is all-encompassing, and so perhaps it's relevant to recognize this and one of his core teachings, which is love all, serve all. I guess I'm just echoing Divinesh over here.
Amazing. Love all, serve all.
Absolutely. So as Akka, you've identified there's clearly a gap where we are not applying Swami's teachings as much as we would like, and that needs to be filled. And as Divinesh pointed out, there's possibly a mental health concern here, and that's the same reason for me for why there is a need. In my opinion, our brothers and sisters' mental health are being compromised in a space where they're supposed to feel loved unconditionally, right? And not hurt. And this is the same space that's supposed to help them love themselves and be true to themselves. And the objective of this organization is for each of us to realize our inherent divinity. So, exactly, how are we heading towards that if we don't treat them like divine beings? And how are they going to achieve that in a space that they are not treated like divine beings? So, you guys have put it beautifully. There's definitely a need. So now let's talk about what are some of the prejudices or resistance towards the LGBT community in the organization. Divinesh?
Prejudice or resistance, right, towards the LGBT community. Well, okay, Neera, this is what it is. Fundamentally, right, resistance takes many forms. Okay, you can look at it through tolerance, bullying, discrimination, even harassment, right? And often discrimination stems from fear and misunderstanding, really. So let's talk about fear. There is two types of fear. We've got the rational fear and the irrational fear. So rational fear, if we want to, weigh it out, it can be seen through our legal consequences, such as in Malaysia, there has made it illegal with enforcement through the Sharia law, and to which I believe, as a Sai devotee, if I want to honestly practice love all, serve all, it's only within a capacity. Right. And then we talk about irrational fear. Irrational fear is a classic one that I have one to share. I call it the cure. It's when you meet an auntie or an uncle and they go, if only you met the right girl or guy, all of this could have been avoided, Right. and that's what it is. What may look like a concerned relative is in fact prejudice. So it comes back again. We talk about conservative beliefs, and there's a lot of family pressure that may come very subtly. And I feel it may stem from taking lessons from all the movies that we've been watching. The emotional play with children, even more with somebody who is non-hetero, hits much deeper. The frustration is like any other child who, is forced into what they don't want, and having to be respectful about it, but also remaining closeted and enduring not only social stigma, self-stigma, and then you have that benchmark of being a star child in your family. Now, tell me if that's not a lot of pressure on a child.
Definitely, yeah.
A lot. And okay, just to give you another one, we talk about that checkmate move. It goes against the law of nature. Seems to be the ultimate truth of the resistance that we, have. So the stigma with family formation is as old as its judgment. Be it hetero or not, the choice is in fact intimate and varied. One couple may choose to have children through surrogacy, IVF, and probably if you're looking at it at a greater seva level, choosing to adopt or foster care is the choice for anyone, be it gay, lesbian, or even a hetero parent.
So obviously there's, at the core of all these things that you've mentioned, conditioning seems to be the main source of the resistance, whether it's family, what a family should look like, or how marriage should look like, how a child should behave. And so when we introduce something that doesn't fit that mold, there is resistance, right? So Akka, from an older generation's perspective, what do you think is the barrier against acceptance?
Meera, thank you very much for making me the elder one on the call.
The numbers don't lie.
You're still young at heart, okay?
Thanks! That's even better now, Devin Divinish. Okay, from an older generation's perspective, what do I think is the main concern that's preventing acceptance? That's your question, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Neera. Let me try. So, I personally didn't hear or know about the LGBTQ community till I was like 10, right?
Right.
And it was so taboo to talk about. Like nobody had a public discussion about it ever. And why? I have no clue. I don't know it. Why the whole topic was so shunned, at least during my childhood.
Right.
Okay. So I guess for me personally, what I learned from my surroundings was that boy-girl relationships are normal. That's the normal thing, like you guys just branded, right? A while ago. But then I went to the University of Liverpool for my undergraduate degree. And well, you live your own experiences there, right? So I had some of my coolest, most chilled, funny friends happen to be gay. And that truly made me very happy. That's when I had my first-hand experience that these friends of mine are just people. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, yeah.
And among my generation, or at least my college mates, most treated somebody who was gay or lesbian or straight just as that, as a person. So that's my personal experience, right? Having said that, I can respect and acknowledge that my experience may not be a common view, you see. Some people would not have experienced such situations to normalize this taboo for them. Funnily, Divinish was talking about how it can be difficult from a child's perspective, right? I also see it from a perspective of what you all called me, an elder or a parent, right? Because I am a parent. The inability to understand a child's orientation may appear to come from a place of love, right? Now that I'm a parent, if my child cries and tells me I'm not listening or I'm not doing something, sometimes I'm pretty ready to let my child think that I misunderstand them. I don't mind, to do the right thing for them, for their own good. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's how I'm expressing my love in that situation. That's one way, that's one perspective. The other one could be my love might also be coming from a place of fear. Because I don't want my child to hurt, right? I don't want them to feel any pain for being so-called different.
Yeah.
And this doesn't mean I don't love my kid. They're still my kid. I love them. And I feel what I'm doing is the right thing for them, you see? So depending on where the parent is coming from, they are still stemming from a place of love. It could be, like you said, what was the word that you used earlier? Rational or irrational fear, right?
Yes, Akka.
Okay, so I'm coming back to that, I guess. Yet I feel with good constant communication, there can always be a confluence point where ideas and understanding can meet,
Beautiful, Akka. That's such an honest perspective. And I love how you've captured where the parents or our elders are coming from, not necessarily from a place of anger or evil, but out of genuine fear. And that fear is their way of showing love. But that makes me think that I guess the whole point of this journey is for us to learn to love unconditionally, right? Loving someone when their beliefs and ideas align with you is easy. But pure love is loving despite the differences, right? That's what we are striving for.
Exactly. And hence the point about confluence, you see?
Exactly.
Where
so
the ideas and understandings meet.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if we can just, even if we can't understand, if we can just sit down and listen and communicate with compassion, that's half the battle won. Divinesh, now let's put all this theory that we've been talking about into some context. Can you give us examples of when people you know were treated differently or unpleasantly because of their sexual orientation?
Right. So Neera, so echoing from your last podcast about, how we choose to talk to respond, not talk to understand, right? And I think that is also in a way where we are still in a way stuck.
Right.
For example, if I'm giving you a scenario that I have actually been through. This was a trip to Parthi, and it has something to do with the negative connotation of the LGBT community. So picture me in the Kulwan Hall. I'm waiting for darshan, and I'm sitting there with my, my brothers who followed me, and we're talking about an international event. And as you know how Kulwan Hall can get, very stuffy at times. You can get a lot of people, and you seem to nudge each other with your knees.
Yeah.
And there was this one brother who had, I think, very subconsciously, had said, "Bro, stop touching me. I'm not gay like you."
Oh.
And this was said not only confidently, but I'm sitting there and in a crowd in the most, where I call home, and I'm baffled, and I'm a bit like taken aback, and I'm brought back from an atmic level to a body level, and I'm like, do I cry? Do I not? What do I do? And again, that's something we also need to address. Maybe another example, Neera. Okay, so this is a friend of mine who I know in Malaysia, and she was actually trying to tell her friends that, hey, I'm dating someone, and she was finding it really hard to say it, and it was a bunch of 5 of us, and I realized that some of them did not know how to decipher that. Like, oh, okay, you're dating a girl, and what is society going to say? What is your mother going to say about it? How open are you? And you see, she is having all that courage to come to you to only be asked questions to put her back into that box.
Right.
And why are we treating people like they're any different? If you're sharing something happy, you should share it. You should respond to it, just like you're responding to anybody else.
Such important examples, Divinesh. I think we all need to urgently become conscious of how we speak and the words we use. I mean, why are we attributing negative connotations to a neutral word like gay or lesbian, or making jokes or making light of it, right?
Right.
So we've identified some of the factors that are causing resistance, so it's the deep conditioning, the fear, misunderstanding, also the law is in our country, and this is causing some of my brothers and sisters to feel like they're being treated differently, or to feel like there is a lack of understanding or genuine acceptance, not of anything, but just them as a human being, right? But to me, it seems like all that is required and all that is expected is for everyone to communicate and treat other based on Swami's teachings. And Swami has made this very powerful statement that I found when I was researching for this podcast. He said, all the japa, all the dhyana, and all the seva you perform will be futile if you do not cultivate universal and selfless love. I mean, that puts everything in perspective, right?
Very powerful.
So, how do you guys think we should use Swami's teachings to address this situation?
I would say it's actually really very simple.
Yeah.
It would be nice if everybody could respond in a neutral, accepting manner, because that is who we should be to anybody and everybody who steps into our center, irrespective of their orientation, right?
Right.
It's just simple, be nice.
Yeah.
Having said that, we do realize that everybody's beliefs may not conform, and there may still be a lack of experience dealing with such situations. Entire generations of people may still be grappling with accepting what is actually a norm among our current generation more than ever before, right? Because it's so much more prevalent. I would say to some, there may have been a so-called right or wrong way to be in relationships and to choose partners. But not to all, right? I'm a teacher by profession, and I've dealt, and I still continue to deal with a lot of youngsters and students professionally for my work. I teach English and Thai youth over the last, 18 to 19 years now. And with our current young generation, from my personal experience over these years, I would say it's safe to say that a common overarching view of young adults is loving someone is just loving someone. Period. It's simple as that.
Yep.
Loving someone is just loving someone.
Yeah.
Right?
Love is love.
So, love is love. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So, I guess if there's anybody who's dealing with their biases, we do see where you're coming from. Yet, as a Sai youth, I see Sai, Swami, the Sai community, the organization as my home, like Devinesh said earlier. The Sai Center is my home. I've grown up with it. It's been part and parcel of who Sai Usha is, you see. So being able to feel safe, to feel loved, to feel respected, comfortable in my own skin, just as I am, whoever I am, it's important for me.
Absolutely.
To feel like that at home, right? Because at home is where I grow. It's where I thrive. So naturally, no matter the orientation of the youth, we should all be able to feel the same connect with the source of love, right?
Yep.
And we're talking about the source of love who loves us all the same and teaches us to do the same.
Yeah.
So when we come home to a Sai center or go to a new center or Puttaparthi, the feeling of oneness among all, the fellowship and love that I experience is what I cherish. So I just feel it's a blanket rule, that we should have drilled deep into our senses and brains and hardwire, that Atiti Devo Bhava, which means guest is God. So all should be treated as such. Personally, I just feel it's also really important to lose what's temporary, which is the external makeup of a person, and gain what's permanent, which is the essence of each person. The essence of all is one and the same. So Swami's been saying this like forever.
Yeah.
Okay, but then I want to say something as well to some who may not have the same view and who would like to talk about this to somebody, and to the person that may experience an unexpected or a pleasant comment or a situation. We, your brothers and sisters among the young adult wing, we sincerely hope that among us, we're assuring you that we are here. So we hope that you find a safe space to voice your concerns if you have any. We're here. So come and talk to us. If anybody's unsure of how to respond to, somebody who comes out, feel free to ask for help and look for a solution. We are here, and well, Google has been helping us with so many of our life answers as well. So we can't say we're ignorant anymore, right?
100%.
So it's very important to take that to mind. Actually, at this point, You know, have you all heard that song by Sister Lorraine Burroughs?
No.
Take a lesson from the sun.
Is she a country singer?
Sorry?
Is she a country singer?
she's a teacher at the Satisai school in Thailand. Okay,
Oh, yeah.
she's been there for many years now, and she's a beautiful teacher and singer and Sai devotee. And she sings this. Should I sing it or should I say?
Yes,
the word?
please, Akash, sing it for us.
Sing it for us.
Okay then. Here we go. Okay, the song goes as thus, right? Take a lesson from the sun, who shines his light on everyone, or the rain that falls on every single shore. No distinction of our race, or the color of our face. Nature's gifts are there for all men, rich or poor. Love all, serve all. Understand that love and peace is what we need. Love all, serve all, in every single thought, word, and deed. Bear all and do nothing, hear all and say nothing, give all and take nothing in return. Love is giving and forgiving, self is getting and forgetting. Love all in the spirit of pure love. That's the
Oh my god, goosebumps, Aka. Like, that was so beautiful.
Wow.
Like,
beautiful words, right? Beautiful teachings,
Beautiful
and so
words,
apt for all of us in this situation. And for me, I just felt like it came to my head, and I was like, it's such a beautiful summary of Swami's teachings. And it's all in like one capsule, you know, it's that age-old truth and teaching that Swami has reiterated time and again. So yeah, I think it's time to step up and be that love that loves all, right?
Amen.
Divinesh, would you like to add anything to that?
I mean, what is there to trump what Akka has
I
said?
know,
She said the ultimate Nira,
Yeah.
you know?
It
But,
was like a song, you know.
Just to add in a bit, I would also say we should also make sure that Swami is always within us, with us, and, you know, speaking through us. And, you know, why fear when he's always with us?
Beautiful. You know, guys, as I've been listening to you both speak, I'm reminded of what Swami has said about prema. He says love and affection, if we confine it to our nearest kith and kin, is the lowest kind of prema. And if we go a little beyond that narrow region of our family and extend that love to our country and other people, that is the intermediate kind of prema. But if we treat the entire world as one and regard all the people living in the entire world as one and extend our faith and sympathy to all of them, that is the highest kind of prema. So thank you both so very much for reminding us what level of prema we should all want to be operating at. Dear listeners, it's now time for some prasadam pills. 1. When our brothers and sisters suffer in silence, we are neglecting our responsibilities as Swami's instruments. 2. Even if we disagree with certain views, we should still treat every individual with respect and kindness. So let's learn to be conscious of our words and deeds. 3. Our resistance towards the LGBT community often stems from a place of fear, ignorance, or miscommunication. So let's reflect on our conditioning, educate ourselves, acknowledge our biases, and assess if they align to Swami's most precious ideal of universal, selfless love. Until next Friday, happy scooping!